Hello everybody, my name is Troublemaker. This is Wargame AirLand Battle Strategies and Tactics, and this week we'll be looking at the FR-Niwo Firebomb tactics. He uses napalm bombers like a madman, and it's not a one-trick pony. It's a very well put together strategy. So let's just look at this loadout real quick, because it's very important. He's covering a lot of bases here. One, he has some AT helicopter weapons, which is a very odd choice, but makes sense for what he's doing, which are going to get airlifted to a town as far closest to his base as possible. This provides a flanking opportunity, and it also slows down reinforcements coming down this path. He's also going to have a tank ball. He's using these M8 AGS tanks, but realistically with this tactic, you can use almost any tank. He has one AA. Two, you count the IHawk. And then he has a recon. Two recons. I don't think he actually uses two recons, though. And then, of course, he has his napalm bombers. So he has a lot of stuff going in this strategy. A lot of smart stuff. And we're going to look at it all very specifically and why he chooses what he chooses. And everything does have a specific choice preference of why. Nothing is without reason here. So we're starting off the match, and he immediately sends off two bombers. Now, in the next analysis, I'll be doing another one. We'll note he'll only send one bomber. The reason why he's using two bombers here is because two entry points. Now, one of the interesting things about this is even though he's sending two napalm bombers, and they are napalm, look, you see the 340 kilogram napalm weapons. Even though he's sending two napalm bombers to napalm the area, he will only lose one plane. This means that this attack will cost us 45 points. That's not bad. So he's going to be 45 points in cost. He's sending two Corsairs forward, and he's going to go ahead and bomb this spot and this spot. Now, if there was another bridge right here, that was really common, he'd probably bomb here or here. Just make sure, so he's throwing a third napalm bomber, hypothetically. And so these bombers have a purpose. They're going to do two things. One, if a person's paying attention, they won't run through napalm. That will slow down their army, and it'll make it so that he can gain position in territory with these helicopters. Normally, these helicopters would not be able to make it this far. But because the napalm, which could slow down, they have a better shot of making it. Now, also note that his tanks are pretty far away compared to the helicopters, so he's made some room. And he is taking lots of bases. He's going to take one base here and a 5-point base here. So he's got 8 points worth of bases. He's got some cargoes in because this is a very long-term strategy. And he also has a napalm infantry here. So these are a lot of cool things that he's doing. So the napalm does go off. He will in fact lose the two vehicles, and it costs him 90 points. Note right off the bat, every single one of these infantry carriers is down 25 to 50% health. Each one of them are worth 5 points. The cargo inside is worth 10 points. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 15 is 105. 75% of that is going to be around 80. He's trading 45 points for 80 points worth of damage. And similarly, you see something similar here, except it's a lot of them are roll-ins. So it's a very effective trade that we're seeing. And some units will die in here. They'll continue to take damage, and he'll do damage to these M1 Abrams. So note, if you run through the napalm, all of your units are weakened. All of them. Every single one of them. And these are set up such a way that you have to run through them. Note cliff faces here. Napalm here. You can't not aim for this. He studied this map very well. Same thing over here. There's no cliff faces here. He went it right on top of the bridge so that every single unit across the bridge has to hit. There's no way for you to get across this bridge now except for going this long route here. So he's effectively slowed down his opponent because carriers are now broken and you have infantry out, and he's also weakened them. Very important later on. So he's got his Black Hawks coming with some, I believe light rifleman is his unit of choice, and I agree with that one. He's got an AA helicopter here, which is just used to pick off some units, and he's going to go for the opening skirmish. This is the skirmish that everyone does just to kind of gain position, vie for position. And here we go. The battle begins. The M1 Abrams has 1 point down on this one, 2 points down on this one. All the infantry are weakened, cannot be used. This infantry can't do anything. There's 10 assault engineers here. And here comes the command to fulfill this position. So already, boom, this position we have FR-Niwo set up. Command here. He has slowed down these advances. This command here cannot get through this napalm safely. He has taken position inside of these buildings with some light riflemen. Light riflemen, of course, do have the Dragoon rocket launchers, so they can deal with tanks, but they also have a nice amount of anti-infantry weaponry. So he's got great position here. Nothing will be able to get through this path here. Even after getting through here, they can't get through here. Because look at these vehicle health. Very, very, very low. So he's all set up, and here comes the tank battle. This is a tank battle that is not intended to kill. It's just going to be standard play, just normal stuff. Now, because he ran through, everything's injured. He only has 2 tanks to play with, because all of his vehicles are pretty well worthless. And the tanks are just going to rush forward. Zombie Pigman, of course, is a great player, positioning his tanks in an ambush position, but it's just not going to do any good. And there you go, all the tanks are gone. So, match is going to be over very soon, but just take note, you know. The napalm bombers did their job. Very good positions, very well studied, trapping his opponent into this one base, and this command can't actually cross this napalm safely. If a person's not paying attention and they cross the napalm, all of their units are coming in very weakened, or less of them overall. FR-Niwo has taken a very greedy approach here. He has done an expansion to a 5-point base, and he's also done a rush that has done a high amount of damage. It's very good. And this is kind of the scary point in the map. The napalm is finally cleaning up. Patience would have done good for Zombie Pigman. If you're being hit by this rush, just a good tip, wait for the napalm to clean up. Because truthfully, you're losing 1 minute versus losing all these units. Alternatively, you can take longer extra routes, which of course we have covered here. FR-Niwo has these alternative routes covered as well. So it's very powerful. I would recommend it. Next part of this, we'll be looking at the exact same build done on a much larger map and done against a guy who does some really odd stuff as well. So yeah, let's check that out right now. Alright, so FR-Niwo again, looking at his firebomb build again, and we'll just see very specifically what he wants to do. Now this time, a different map, mixing it up, he has some recons. It's a much larger map as well, so he's going to have one flying this direction, and one flying this direction. This will provide him cover of this giant lake by using the Black Hawk for that, and the scout can be dropped in this extra little field here, little small opening for a helicopter to jump into. And he has his UH-1H Hueys, which are full of light riflemen. And the light riflemen are an interesting choice, because it allows them to take positions like here and here, which are not ones that you necessarily care about holding, but it's advantage points to shoot rockets at. Nice flanks. And he does always choose nice flanking positions. Once again, these AGSs. This time mixing in some Abrams. He has his AA and some AAAT weapons. So, and he also has his anti-infantry as well, which he's using to hold position. And these are pretty cheap as well, I should note. Very, very cheap vehicles. And he's going to go for roughly the same thing again, but modified slightly. And the key to this strategy, of course, is the firebomb. He will launch out a firebomber. Here you go, 340 kilogram weapon. This time he's gone with an F4J Phantom. And once again, note the cost, 80 points, roughly the same. Now this time, however, we have an interceptor coming out. Now you have to remember, the Corsair died last time because it got shot down by Bukmis and Osas and whatnot. This time it's getting shot down preemptively by a helicopter, but he did get his shot off, and it will in fact field this intersection with fire. So that's a success. Now, there's only one intersection, one area to cover. He only had to use one fire bomber. If there was a road here, he'd use two. And he'd only still lose one. That's the interesting point about this. He's always trading 80 points of damage in exchange for having a large number of infantry vehicles, tanks, and AA running through here. And now he has his helicopter recon moving off to the right. Where does the other one go? Maybe he removed it last minute. And he's going to drop off his AT in a nice forward position. Once again, these are not normal infantry, so he's not putting me in a spot like this. This is where you put normal infantry, in this little area here, or this area here. Nice places that are easy for them to hold, and they can get in the close range with things. Now he's putting them in places where you can create flanking positions, so that when the tank push comes, he can hold. Now also note where the position of the armies are. He has his armies lined up with this base. These are the two 3-point bases, so he is pushed forward enough so you can secure both 3-point bases from this vantage point. He's covering only this main road. That's all he's really interested in. He has his two anti-infantry napalm infantry rushing forward to try and grab these bases here. And now with his AT coming into position, he'll be able to provide close range flanking positions. That'll be very hard to remove. It's very interesting to note that if Panzerschwagen was to actually target these light riflemen, it would take him too long to kill them, and they tank too much damage. However, if he doesn't, they would do damage and take him out. And it's, once again, just those three things. Firebomb, AT in position, tank push down the center. So now he's cleared the center road. He now controls this road here, which can allow him to just move into the enemy base if he wants to. This means that his opponent will have to secure this location and really won't be able to move on to this area. It means that he's pretty free to take these middle bases, both of them. And on top of that, he's able to easily clear out these buildings because his opponent doesn't have this road secured. So a lot of really interesting things that FR-Niwo are doing here. This build is very easy to copy, and definitely worth trying. My name is Troublemaker. Thank you guys for watching. If this was helpful, definitely give this video a like, a little bit of thumbs up action, and join me next week. I'll have another video introducing a different tactic from the game. Thank you guys once again.